Salil Sethi, man, yeah, you've been busy on the platform doing some development. Um, what in the world brought you to BitClout?
So it's actually an interesting story. How I got into BitClout wasn't planned at all. No one knew what BitClout would be, right? A few months ago. So one of my friends who's into crypto quite a bit, and I wasn't. And my first Bitcoin I bought once I joined BitClout. So it's a little embarrassing, but that's my journey. But one of my friends who's been into BitClout, into crypto, talked about BitClout. I tried to get on it around March 23rd, 24th. The site was down, was having issues. And I'm like, dude, it's crypto, plus the site doesn't work. So, didn't try much. And then he reminded me again a week later. So I joined on April 1st, almost a
Oh,
little bit as a joke
you were a
that,
late you were a latecomer.
I'm a latecomer. Yeah, yeah. I'm not in the March, the March first 2 week
Yeah, I
period
couldn't
of.
remember when I did it until I looked at your website and I was like, oh, I guess I did do that in March. That's cool.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a joke actually, April 1st joining and sending him the link. And then after that, yeah, things changed. And now I'm spending a lot of time on it.
Well, to say the least. Um, so, all right, so you kind of went on it as a joke. At what point did you go, okay, this might be something that I could seriously develop on or produce on?
Yeah. So I think data was exciting to me. My first foray was trying to literally figure out how does the coin price work, right? So I read the white paper or the one pager as they call it, and I was trying to figure out how the bonding curve works, right? Like when I buy, how does the price go up? When I sell, how does the price go down? And create an Excel model, put it on a website and put it out. And I think in a day, no one knew me, right? Like I was new, probably less than 50 followers. I'm making it up.
Yeah.
And people started sharing it. And my coin price just jumped, or ProsperClout coin price just jumped to like 700, 800. And I'm like, what is going on here, right? People don't know me. It's a cool calculator that I put, but right, everyone can make this. It wasn't something crazy. But I think that was an interesting part. That got me a little bit more involved, where seeing the transaction volume, seeing people talk about it, a lot of activity, I guess. So that got me involved. And then the question was, can I get more data? Because it's on the blockchain. Everyone should be able to see it. And there were like all these interesting things we can do. And people started reaching out with suggestions. And I was still, figuring it out until the nodes came out. I think that happened end of March. And once the node was released, it was basically a kid in a candy store. You have access to everything that you need, all the data. And then, the real development started for ProsperCloud. And then by mid-May, about 2 weeks in, we had the platform up.
So is that I take it you're a developer.
Actually, I've never coded in my life for any company. Here's a funny story. I've done a lot of projects for myself, hacked around quite a bit, did my undergrad in computer science, but my entire professional life has been a management consultant. So I used to work at McKinsey for a while, worked at Deloitte for a while, but never never wrote a single line of code for work. But yeah, did a bunch of it for my own side projects.
So you had to go kind of reach into your Rolodex and find coders you knew and talk them into it. How did that go?
This is just me.
So you did
There's
do the code, even
Yeah, this
even though
is
you're
again.
not a coder.
Yeah, this is so I did this. I wrote every line of this, and it's right now just me working on it. I have a lot of support from people, so shout out to them. There's a page about people who are helping a lot with ProsperCloud. We call them heroes. There's a page you can check, and you should check.
Yeah, well,
But
I actually saw that. I'm going to pull that up on the screen here.
yeah. But the code base, that's me, and it just goes back, right? Like I love coding, but I just never happened to have a job as a coder. But yeah.
All right, so you take on the role of coder.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work? I mean, I would love to be able to do it, but it's
Yeah.
so daunting for the average person. So, like, did you had to quickly figure out the language and I mean, walk me through how that went?
So it was somewhat easy for me, right? And the reason I say that is, like, let me just go back in my background a little bit. Did my undergrad from Georgia Tech, did computer science, loved the school, loved the computer science program.
Yeah,
and was
Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets.
there you go.
I grew up a Yellow Jacket fan, which is a minority here in Georgia. It's I grew up a double minority in Georgia. I was a
Yeah,
Catholic Yellow Jacket fan. So, here in the Georgia Bulldogs slash Baptist centered
yeah.
population, I was definitely sort of a minority on those fronts. But love to hear that you went to Georgia Tech. My father graduated from there.
Oh wow, what major?
Oh wow, so long ago.
Yeah,
Obviously, he would have been almost 100. If he were alive, he'd be almost 100 years old. But
wow,
he got a degree in textile engineering,
wow.
which I didn't know until shortly before he died. And we found the
Mm,
degree. I found the degree rolled up in his closet. It's a
wow.
big thing in our big, what do you call it? A tube, the
That's right. I know
like a
what you mean.
map tube. And
Mm-hmm.
on it, he had written in his classic, handwriting, said, this, how did he put it? This degree is subject to revocation by the recipient if the recipient is still working in a textile mill within 2 years. So in other words, he knew
That's
he did
funny.
not really want to be a textile engineer, and he didn't. He
Right.
spent very little. He went on to other things and became a
Awesome.
computer guy. But yeah, I love
Wow.
that story.
Yeah, yeah,
So anyway, sorry to I mean, I don't meet a lot of Georgia Tech people, so I had to
yeah,
jump in on that.
yeah. So that was my background, right? But then yeah, after that, I joined Deloitte as a management consultant, worked there for several years, did my MBA from MIT. But the good news about MIT is they have a strong MBA program, but it's a tech school end of the day. So spend a lot of time on the tech side of things as well, attending classes. Worked full time at McKinsey for several years, zero coding, right? Like they just don't do any of it. But stayed in touch, right? I always had projects on the weekends, worked on stuff for my own, on my own, and that's why it wasn't that difficult. You can choose any language, right? To the question, you can choose any language. You can use, transform data, access data in any language you want. So yeah, so that's how it went. So once the data was there, I knew I could, write it in JavaScript. That's what I've used, and then
Oh,
started
so
playing with it.
you just awakened something in my mind. I've been under the impression I've heard these languages like Go and React being tossed around by other developers, but I just sort of took the approach that, well, that must be the language you have to
No,
develop in.
no, you can do. So here's the thing. So the BitClout dev team released the code, and it's written
Mhm.
in Go, right? That's a choice. That's a language they chose. But they create something called an API layer, which basically means, call this URL. It's literally a URL. Send this authorization, call this
Sure.
URL, and they will send you back data, right? Whatever you ask, they'll send you
Mhm.
back data. You can call that URL in JavaScript. You can call it in Python. You can call it in pick a language, Go, right? Pick any language and you can call it. You really don't need to know how it's written. If you want to do something, super fancy, want to, make their thing even better, then you need to know Go. I have no
I
idea how
see.
Go works. Yeah, but just pick a language and you can literally start building on top of BitClout.
So how is that different? I mean, people were able to do an API call before they released the code, right? And
Yeah,
the ability to do nodes.
that's right.
Okay.
The difference is before, right? So you can make a call, they'll send you back some data. Okay. You can't have them send you back everything, right? There are what,
Oh,
25 million plus transactions that have been done since it started, maybe close to 30 million by the
mhm.
time this thing is out. So they can't send you 30 million transactions. So once they release the code and once they release the node, more than the code, once they release the nodes, you can run it on your own server. And then you can hit that server up 10 times a minute if you want and just keep on pulling stuff, right? It's your server.
Right.
You can't hit their server 10 times a minute. They'll stop you.
I see. I see. So that's the advantage of the node part.
That is, yeah.
So, okay, now and I guess the punchline here is still it takes a great mind like yours that could graduate from Georgia Tech to really
Oh,
be able to
thank you.
jump in and code. I would not be able to do that as much as I would love to. And I think, warning for most people, you're probably still in for a lot of brain damage if you try to do it. But I think it's awesome. I'm just, you know, astounded you did this all on your
Oh,
own.
thank you.
And so if I'm understanding you right, you probably looked at it as, I did this great spreadsheet. Now let's
Yeah.
do this interface, so to speak. By the way, will
Yeah.
this ever be an app type interface?
Maybe. I think I've been talking to a few different apps to integrate, right? So for example, I would say Clouty app does it. I don't know about CloudFeed. I know Flick app, they have a link on every profile where they'll open up our page. It's completely mobile
Mm-hmm.
friendly. So it'll open up within the app, and people can see all the numbers for that profile.
Okay.
I'm not so sure if we'll go a native app route now, but if you asked me a month ago what this thing would look like, I didn't know either. I don't know
Right.
what things will change in a month.
Sure. So let's take a look at it real quick. I mean, and so, all right. So first of all, before I do that, just give me the 30-second elevator pitch of what what a person would want to use ProsperClout for.
Yeah. So the goal of ProsperClout is, basically help with creator intelligence. We want to make BitClout a safe place, support creators, and enable liquidity, right? Like let people support creators, let people invest in creators. And the only way you will or people will invest in creators is if they feel comfortable who's who and what their background is. So this is our way of helping support creators. Let's give their information to potential coin holders. So that's one aspect of it. And then the second aspect of it is for creators, you can literally look at other creators who've done well on the platform and try to see what they have been doing over time and maybe take inspiration from that. So we're trying to help both the creator and the coin holder, but it's basically to shed light and bring transparency to BitClout.
Awesome. All right. So we're streaming live to YouTube. So anyone who's listening can check that out at any time. So we're gonna let's go through it. Walk me through how you use this website.
Yeah,
Like pick a profile we should use. Should we
let's
use
pick the podcast.
let's do the podcast one. So we have
Yeah,
we have an account for BitClout Podcast. And I've been interested in understanding BitClout Podcast and its performance in the coin realm
yeah,
lately. And it's taken a downturn. I was really happy in the early stages.
yeah,
I think all of us were, because it was like there was a investment frenzy going on, and people, were investing, less users, maybe more
yeah,
money to go to the less users, but still there's some trends that have been happening lately. Maybe you can help me figure out.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about this thing, right? So a few things. Top line, very simple, right? These are the things people care about. What's the coin price? What's the founder reward? How many followers someone has? Diamonds received, last activity, right? So a few quick hits here. Coin price around the 250 price range. So a fairly accessible coin at this point. Founder reward is 9%. When BitClout started, the default founder reward was 10%, and they changed it to 100 at some point.
Right.
For a good reason. So it's 9%, so it's slightly below. I would say I see founder reward between 5 and 10% mostly. So 9% is in the range, and slightly less than 1,000 followers. So I would say it's a established profile, and it has a lot of room to grow, obviously.
So less than 1,000 followers. Is there a threshold that algorithmically, when you get to a certain point, you may see more engagement?
I haven't seen it. The thing is, the engagement right now is driven mostly by the global feed, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on BitCloud. And the global feed, they talked about it, is somewhat manually curated by a team. It's not being, they might be they might be using some technology to shortlist who or what they're profiling, but I don't think there's a sophisticated algorithm written about that yet. Um, so I've seen, accounts with less than 100 followers be on global feed. And then there are accounts like Krasenstein brothers with, I don't know, thousands of followers who are on global feed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is, directly tied to the follower count right now. So if you have a low follower count, I won't take that as, or anybody who's listening to this has a low follower count, I wouldn't take that, only the big accounts get to be seen
Right.
on global field. It's about truly about putting consistent and quality content out. And it's said or thrown around so much that it's lost its meaning. But in BitClout's case, I have seen that happen more than a few times.
So, and then coin price, everyone says is such a big deal to be recognized.
Yeah.
So, and that's frustrating for people
Yeah.
just joining, or people like myself who, my coin price today is what? Let's see.
250.
254.66.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was as high as, and I love this. You've got your coin price by the day.
Yeah, you went up to like almost $650, right? And it obviously fluctuates based on what the
Yeah.
BitClout price is. So it might have been higher if the BitClout was, more per dollar at that day. But yeah.
Well, yes. And so you can see on May 6th, it dropped precipitously. And I think that might have been when there was an adjustment to the BitClout to Bitcoin price. Do you recall that? There was a day when suddenly the price, the BitClout price went up, but Bitcoin had gone down, I think, as I recall.
Possibly. So the adjustments happen recently almost a few times a week, I think, or a few times a day, actually. They were doing 2 adjustments to, keep it at a certain point. What you're seeing here is the way the price is calculated, right? And not to account for that and give people,
Sure.
a true view of how the coin has done. This mostly shows, assuming this is the BitClout price throughout, what was your coin price. So if tomorrow you come on this page and let's say the BitClout price is 200, your high that you see here from 638 will say it was 650, in fact, right? So the chart basically, accommodates for any outside adjustments people are making. The drop that you see is most likely, in my mind, someone, getting out of your coin at that point.
Yeah,
most likely.
That too. And I definitely saw that on June 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, that's the other. So there are 2 drops that we see, but they're also like, and you can see, right, like the big vertical lines is like either someone coming in hot. So around April 3rd, there was like a huge, or April 2nd, right? Huge buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, there are like certain vertical lines that you'll see where, some people left the account.
Right. And I definitely noticed that over the past few weeks, in my previous podcast, I talked about this. I took some time off and really kind of disconnected, traveled some with family and all of that, which was great. I needed it because, like many of us that came in early, we've been just balls to the walls on this platform for a couple of months. So I didn't really worry about it. In my mind, I thought, you know what, I'm not creating content. I'm not engaging. So people are going to lose, interest, so to speak. But then simultaneous to that, the dev team announced that we're going to be, the deflation bomb. Going to the exchange and all that. So I just saw a lot of coin move out of there. And I'll admit, I did it too. I went through a whole bunch of accounts that I had put money in that I saw, this person hasn't done anything in 4 weeks. And especially some of the bigger creators, like not bigger creators, bigger, I say accounts, maybe even some reserved accounts that I thought, wow, when they come on, I'm going to be in early. And I've just changed my mind about it. I just feel like here's what I've noticed the past few days. Like, let's say that there's thousands of potential creators, influencers from other platforms that could come on here. And so we'll use Madonna as one. And unless you know Madonna, even if you do, we saw this unbelievably large investment in her coin, like $500,000 by her, I guess her manager or something like that. Well, automatically through the bonding curve, then that coin has gone up so exponentially that it's like, well, unless I was spreading out little buys all over the place on these things early, it's hard to, and I don't want to do that. It's too
right.
So I think that's where there's less and less inclination to look at big influencers jumping on the platform. And I'm more interested in people I've met who are doing things that I believe are going like ProsperClout. Like if I look at your coin and think, wow, this could develop into something far greater than it is. And then you combine that with new users, this could really grow. So I look for those types of projects now.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point. I think the way I think about this is you have to see the motivation of the creator, right? Like when you're looking to make a purchase or buy their coin. Big creators, influencers who are big on other platforms or in real life, the engagement is it's still an early platform, right? It's a social media platform, but it's a baby social media platform. Our
Mhm.
daily actives are between 5 and 15,000 a day. So even if someone comes here, starts posting, the engagement they will see is minuscule. They see far greater engagement on Instagram. They see far greater engagement on TikTok and other platforms. And to compound that, those platforms have been out for 5, 10 years. So they have much more sophisticated creator tools, right? You can't do live stream on this natively. You can't do, so many things that are just taken
Right.
for granted, right, on other platforms. So I think there's a creator tool, and over time things will evolve. So I see it, working actually in a different way. So this probably gives an opportunity to people who are very talented and feel that they are too late to the game on other platforms. And
Mm.
this is a place for them to showcase their talent, grow their following, and grow their coin. So I think those people will benefit tremendously. And yes, there will be some forward looking influencers who will start joining, right?
Yeah.
The question would be how much additional work it is for them. They'll probably, their primary reason to create content might not be BitClout, and BitClout might still benefit because they might put out a video or a post on Instagram, and then it's not too much work for their social media team to also share it here, right?
Right.
So
Right.
those things will happen, but I think the opportunity it unlocks for new creators, emerging creators, I think is far greater. And identifying those accounts early, I think also helps, on the coin holder side of things.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've really heard a lot of discussion about that yesterday. And I was in one yesterday, and there was a I'm not even gonna use names because I won't even get them right. But there was a young lady who's a very astute strategist for social media
Mm,
for influencers, and she came in and she said, "Look, I've been involved with BitClout a long time. You know me. I was big in the beginning, really promoting
mm,
this, doing rooms, and I had to back off because the people I'm dealing with were all scared of the things like there's no way to pull money out,
yeah,
all those things." um, and not knowing how to use the platform and all kinds of issues. And
sure.
the discussion started, forming around one person who was also highly involved with influencers and trying to get them on the platform, um, who said,
Mm,
"Look, I'm getting calls like crazy in the past day
yeah,
or two about from big influencers ready to now they're thinking about joining."
yeah,
But then the discussion went to the difficulty is how do they use the platform? And
right.
somebody made a great point that influencers are going to be forced to evolve.
Mm,
And I believe
absolutely.
that because I think what you do for success on these other platforms, I think they're going to have to come here and see what people do to succeed here and start
Right.
evolving to that. And I just really believe that over the course of time, we're going to see more and more of that. And
Yeah,
um, it's going to be interesting to watch. I think it'll happen more suddenly than we think. There'll be
yeah,
it's like people finally waking up to Bitcoin.
yeah.
I don't think it's going to take 10 years, but maybe a
Of
year or
course not.
so. And I think suddenly it's going to
Yeah,
be a panic mode of, oh my gosh, I have to do this BitClout thing,
yeah, yeah,
especially seeing the money sitting here waiting for them. It's real money that they can come in
exactly.
today and get and leave if they want to. And
That's
then,
right.
and so then there's the other component, like you take Twitter, for instance.
Mm,
Never been a big Twitter fan. I'm not successful there. I don't follow, but what I use it for is to, engage with people, there's some contacts I've made.
yeah,
I do because I'm into crypto, tend to get news from there. Like uh, I get connected to what's happening in the crypto community, but I'm not interested in being an influencer or even a content creator on Twitter. I use it differently.
right.
So how do you view like that type of person coming onto this platform? Because I don't think like here's how I've looked at it. You get a
Yeah,
big we all imagine a big influencer makes the move
yeah,
here. I
yeah,
think those influencers have to be the type that look at this and figure out how can I use this wealth that's been created for me to engage
Sure.
with my users.
Yeah,
And that's when you're going to have those users come. They're not interested in creating, they're interested in engagement.
that's right.
And it's that equation that's got to be figured out, and it's going to be trial and error, but the person who wins is going to be, pretty mighty here. And it might
Oh
not be
yeah.
the Beyoncés of the world. It could be somebody that
Yeah.
we already know that's on the platform. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's going to be fun to watch. So what do you look at? Like what? All right, I'm going to just admit I don't grasp everything. I'm loving what I'm seeing here with the
Yeah.
metrics and the display of it. But walk me through your mindset on how you would want to see a person use this.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about ProsperClout page
Yeah,
here?
yes, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So, so I think a few things I like to see, right? Like when I'm looking, and just to be completely transparent here, and obviously you can check on the blockchain. I'm not investing right now. My only goal here is to like, my focus is to build. Some people's, focus or persona is to invest. So I'm like purely focused on building.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that I'm looking for here are consistency of engagement, right? So if we go down, there's a meaningful engagement chart, and you can literally see the time that you took off there, right? There's a
Yeah,
bit of a gap.
it stands off the page, doesn't it? I was
Exactly.
inactive.
Yeah, yeah. So I like to see people who are active. Some people ask what's a good number for average posts per day. It really depends. Some people reclout more, some people reply quite a bit. I like these are the three things that I feel are part of the meaningful engagement, because if you post, you're creating content. If you're replying, you're putting an effort to engage with the community. And if you reclout something, in some sense, you're endorsing that viewpoint, right? People will say reclouts or retweets are not endorsement, very loosely, right? So, but you're
Mhm.
okay having that message be shared with your followers on your profile page, right? So those three, I think diamonds and likes, that's not included here. So these are the three pieces of, content being shared or created, which I feel is important. So a consistency here is helpful. And just eyeballing it, I have seen this more again, right, many times where people who've been consistently putting out content over time, their coin price just starts trending up. I think people have been very used to big buys from whales on the platform, or quick price increases. I think it's only 2 months, 3 months old, right? If you take a little bit of a longer term view, just create content and engage with people. Whatever principles held true for other social media platforms somewhat hold true here as well on the content piece.
Sure. And I'm looking at it, and what I'm wanting to see, and I'm not promoting that you should go do this, but
Hmm.
it's a pretty evident correlation if you were to overlay coin price movement
Yeah,
to over the meaningful engagement.
yeah.
So I guess maybe I am asking, for a feature request.
Tell me.
What if there were, could you overlay that coin price to
Yeah,
and have it filtered to how's my coin price
yeah.
trending along with my different types of engagement and
True.
overall engagement? And then, because I think for the overall population, we could all start coming to terms with here's a
Yeah,
best practices. If you
that's
can
right.
post X amount of times, per day, you're,
Yeah,
there's sort of do this, you'll see this result to a degree.
yeah.
Do we have enough data to show that yet?
I think the point that you're making is a very good point. The interesting thing there is there are many different personas also on BitClout. So the persona that you're talking about is a true content creator who's creating value through content. ProsperCloud's persona here is a project. I don't create a lot of posts. In fact, I reply to a lot of posts, but still, you won't see a correlation between my engagement and my coin price. My coin price is somewhat driven off platform, right? Features I'm releasing, things I'm sending out to people through private messages, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be so many different personas, but the path that you shared is a very, that's the influencer model that we talk about in the social media space, and that does have a bearing here.
Sure. Now, so because for instance, Krasensteins, they're huge promoters of using diamonds, and they
Yeah,
apply them liberally, and then look at their coin price. So to me, you have the data here to say, well, what does giving diamonds do to improve your maybe engagement from other people? I don't know. I mean, because I think you send diamonds, you get attention.
Yes.
That's their contention as well. So, I mean, I think I would love to see those types of things. And you're right,
Exactly.
there are different types of creators. I'm a creator
Yeah.
that I have to focus a lot of time creating offline. Like
Yeah.
we're spending time creating a podcast and doing other things, and there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just the time you're listening; it's
Yeah.
prep work, So I don't put out a meme every 3 hours, and I don't even have time actually sometimes to go on the platform and look at anything. Sometimes for a day because I'm
Right.
busy, and so I'm a different type of creator. So is there a way to put people in some broad categories to say, if you're doing this
Yeah.
type of thing, you might see this type of result? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. And I think there are emerging trends already. How people are behaving on the platform. It's fairly easy to see who wears more of a creator hat versus who wears a coin holder hat. Looking literally at this, we're not putting any tags on profiles yet, but it's a fairly easy view to see that. Like if you go through the profile with a few different metrics.
Sure.
But yeah, within creators also, there are different types of creators that people are. Early days for the data to actually start showing trends, but yes, it will happen over time, right?
Hmm.
You will say, oh, an athlete, and also it's helpful because what's a founder reward I should put if I'm an athlete here, right? What's a founder reward I should put if I'm an artist here, right? So there will be comps that people will start looking at, and this thing will, obviously evolve. But yeah, you're right. It will happen, as we get more data, as engagement increases over time.
So speaking of founder reward, this
Yeah,
this is probably what when I took a quick look at your site, when I was like, oh, I'm
yeah,
going to maybe talk to the maker of this platform.
yeah.
And I quickly looked at this and I saw it and I was like, wow, that is information I did not know. And it had to do with create founder rewards. And I made a change immediately in
Oh
looking at
wow,
this because what I saw was that at the 10, I've gone up and down, as you can
that's
see,
right. Yeah.
but I've been at 10% for most of my time on the platform. And I think that I'll discount those early days when I was up in the 12
Sure.
and 15 because it was just a different world.
Hmm.
But it from what I looked at on your thing was it seemed like I was looking at like a bracket of like 0 to 10% and 10% and higher. Maybe you've expanded this, or maybe it automatically did it, but it
Hmm.
looked to me like the sub 10 I had more flow in. Sub
Yeah.
10%. So I moved it from 10% to 9%.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but I've created more, but I've also seen more
Absolutely.
investment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so. Let's talk about this. And I have two different. So let's talk about what's here. But I have a little bit of an opinion on how people should think about founder reward, and would love to hear your thoughts also on it. So the chart on the left that you see is the total money that came in at that account. And just for completeness, the red bars show money out. Truly, founder reward does not have a bearing on money out. So while you're looking at it, it's there, but I would not worry too much about it because founder reward only applies when money comes in. So on the left chart is you might have had 0% or 9% for weeks, days, months, hours, and it just adds up how much volume or total money came in at that percentage. Okay. The chart on the right is a better representation to help people pick what's a good founder reward for them.
And that's
And
money flow velocity,
that's right.
dollars per hour at different
That's right.
founder rewards. Okay.
So the dollar per hour is you may have, let's say, in your case, it's quite similar, right? So when your founder reward was 0%, your total money that came in was about $7,500. I'm looking, sorry, the left one. If you uh, go to the left, yeah, that's total money that came in around $7,500. But if you go on the right side, the hours that you had that founder reward, if you divide that, it was probably not for very long, of less than 24 hours. It said
Hmm.
$666 came at
I see.
0%, right? So that's when maybe you were putting money in, maybe others were investing, or you were, you lowered it for someone. You can see that there was the highest money that came in. And then you just look at, right, 9% is probably a more recent one, but the money that's coming in is what, $22. 18% in your case here, it's 137 that came in. Uh, so this is good to look at just to get a sense, but I think it gets valuable with time. It's like A/B testing. You need to give it time at every founder reward and keep all else equal. You should, if you're holding it true, like for 2 weeks, keep it at a founder reward, and then, do the same level of engagement. And then for the next 2 weeks, maybe change the founder reward and keep the same level of engagement. And that's when you can truly see, at what founder reward your account is more attractive. Because if you're changing your engagement levels as well as founder reward, it's hard to attribute what drove the inflow of money.
Right. Yeah. Being an ad agency, we find that all the time. We can only try to
Yeah.
AB one little element.
Exactly.
So, all right. So I'm getting bored with my own coin here. So let's contrast it with one that's somewhat more dynamic, and that's Rajs Volume.
Okay, that's very dynamic.
And so for those of you that, and I'm quite literally mystified by it. I was actually, he started going a little bit crazy in a nice way when I was kind of taking a break. So I came back to find out what in the heck happened with Raj. Because, we've spoken several times on the platform. I actually had just seen him in Miami.
That's
and
right.
He was in the kind of the midst of his, massive takeoff. But
right.
This is a guy who, first of all, he started on this platform all about giving.
That's
started
right.
BitClout, had some issues with his seed phrase being compromised, all kinds of crazy
Oh,
things.
wow.
But he never let up, and he's been a complete giver in the clubhouse rooms. Like, he's constantly on there, just bringing great ideas and discussions.
Yeah.
But it seems as if, and I'm going to get this wrong, but broadly speaking, he decided, let's game this, and let's figure out ways that I can do things to get people to act.
Right.
Now, that's not for everyone, but like, what do you recognize when you see these metrics? Because he went from his coin price is $11,000.
Sure.
Total market cap 1.65 million.
Yeah.
11,000 diamonds received. Over almost 8,000 followers.
Right.
145 coins in circulation.
Yeah.
So now, and I haven't followed this, we'll call it a game for now, this strategy he's been employing, but I do recall he's done some things like, I'm pulling all of my coin out, and I'm putting my founder reward at X for the next hour, and people can buy in. Well, then when he comes back in, their coin goes up. Their share of his coin goes up. And there's constant trading going on. And so maybe volatility is something you look at here.
Yeah, so I'll like the two things I will share, right? One is the volatility. His coin price changes almost $1,000 up and down each day. So that's a fairly highly volatile, coin. And again, $814 in absolute is a lot, but his coin price is quite high, right? So to keep that in mind. I haven't followed his game as well very closely, but with however he structures it, the interesting thing to see is the point that you made before, where if we overlay the coin price chart along with the engagement chart, right? His engagement includes changes in founder reward and buying and selling coins, but he's just overall became more aware and active on the platform. And I think that happened around first week of May. So May 12th, 13th, if you see, his price was at $3,000. And that's, his activity at the bottom was okay. But then he seriously started increasing the activity, which could be, different type of activity, giving diamonds, but it also reflected in him engaging through posts, replies, and reclouts. And you can see the changes in coin price here.
Yeah. For sure. He's definitely been busy reclouding. And I think that's part of it is people, Raj, you need to come on this thing and explain it to me. I've been asking you for a while, buddy. But I think that's part of it is he's reclouded a lot of people and sort of reclouded to indicate that they invested. So they will say, hey, I put money into Raj, he reclouts it and all that, gets them attention, he gets attention. But it's a virtuous cycle in a way.
Yeah. And if you scroll down just to understand what's been going on with Raj's account, and the volumes are crazy. If you scroll further down, actually, those are the two numbers on the right, the colored numbers. He has put in about 9 million into his account, and he's also taken out about 7.6 million. So net, he's put more money in, but you can literally see the money he's putting in and the money he's taking out from the account.
Right, so he literally put 8 million of his own money in.
9 million.
9
yes,
million.
9 million of his own money in.
Is that an aggregate of all the ins and outs?
All the ins, right? It could include the out. Like once 7.6 million leaves, the coin, it's sitting in BitClout, right? So this is a coin representation. It's not his account representation. It does not show money that left Raj Lahoti's wallet completely, right? So it's possible he sells his coin, money comes as BitClout into his wallet, and he takes that BitClout and reinvests it back into his coin, right? So it's probably
so if I'm understanding you, if I look at this, it's 8.9 in, but there's been 866 buys.
That's right.
That he did. So that's a sum of all the different inflows.
Exactly.
Of his. Okay, so because I don't know Raj, well enough to know his real, asset value, in real life how much money he's worth. But I never thought he was worth $9 million. So that makes sense. That's the sum of all the flow in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's circulated, right? It's circulated within his coin, between wallet and coin. Wallet and coin is what this is showing.
Right. Creator's largest holding. He's got a lot of Krasenstein coin.
He does $19,000 worth of it. So probably the coin is at like what, 4,000 or 5,000. So he has 4 coins, I guess.
All right. So one of the things that struck me that you mentioned earlier is, and maybe you're the guy finally that can really explain this, but you were smart enough, and it was easy enough for you because of your knowledge to be able to look at what is the real bonding curve. And I haven't seen the spreadsheet that you've done. I would love to see it, to see what the math is, because I've been like, what is the math? What is that algorithm that creates that bonding curve? I've been curious.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see it for that purpose. But then I'm, like most people, am always confused by the way the coin prices are described, like in particular, total market cap. Like, what is the math of that?
Yeah, so total market cap, as far as, again, right, we'll figure it out together, but there are 2 or 3 different things you have to see here. One is the coin price, which is determined by the bonding curve. What you truly want to understand is how much money has been put into the account. That is called the locked value. Actually, it's not here. And I'm
going to pull up Craig on.
Let's see Craig's coin lock value, and let's see Craig's market cap. I think it's roughly a factor of 3.
Okay, so we're looking at it on the platform here. I'm going to zoom in.
Do you see his log value here? Does it show? Oh, there you go. So his total logged is 1.86, and his market cap is 5.53, right? So it's roughly a factor of 3. It's actually a factor of 3.
Okay.
Right. So market cap is simple math. Yeah. Market cap. Let's pick up another account just to make sure. If you want to pull up, someone else, and we just make sure together that it's
Jake Udell, then another whale.
So his locked is 1.26, and that's 3.806. There you go. So it's a factor of 3 market cap.
What does it mean to the average person when they say, "Well, what's my market?" Well, I can't pull that out.
You cannot pull that out. If everything was sold on this account, the most money that will come out is the lock value. It's 1.26. That's basically it. That's the total money that was put into the account, that's the money that can come out of the account. That money gets somewhat redistributed depending on who's buying and when are you buying and when are you selling, right? So those who come in early, they'll put less money in. But then the coin price increases, they hold a coin, the unit of what they hold goes from money to coin. and when they sell the coin, they take out more money. But yeah, market cap is a very nebulous thought. It's hard
Yeah.
to put a meaning around it. It doesn't mean JQ Dells coin is worth
Right.
3.86. It's a factor of 3, somewhat function, but I would not worry too much about, or at least I don't worry too much about it.
Yeah. The key is he owns, when we look at his creator coin, he owns 33 coins worth $668,000.
Yeah.
So that's what he can cash out.
That's what he can cash out. No, that's market value. 668
Oh, you're right.
is the
You're
market
right.
value.
So it's 33
It's
coins times the
$200,000
coin
probably.
price. Yeah.
Yeah, he can basically cash out 200,000. Yeah.
All right. So his coin price is 20,000. He's got
Right.
33 of them.
Yeah. Because the thing is, when you sell a coin,
that's 600,000.
No, see, the challenge is, and that's how the market cap is coming. But the thing is, when you sell the coin, what you see as a coin price is not what you sell the coin at. No matter who's selling it, you sell it at a lower price. Your price of so here is the way to think about it. Okay, let's say today the coin price is $100. Just to make it simple. Okay,
Mhm.
you buy that coin, and based on your buy, the coin price becomes 110. Okay. If you sell that coin, you will not get 110, because then you can just buy and sell and make $10 on every trade without doing anything. You're just creating value through math, right? That's not how it works.
Yeah.
When it says the coin value is $100, you don't buy at 100, you buy at 105. And when you sell it, and that's not written here, but that's what happens in the back. But when you sell it, you don't sell it at 110, you sell it at 105. So the spot price of the coin, but the actually realized price are different, and most people don't know this, unfortunately. And that's how the system works. So even though it says his coin price is 19,000 here, 20,000, if he sells everything today, he'll basically get 10,000 in blended price, not 20,000.
Is that because every time a coin is sold, then the curve goes in the opposite
Curve
direction?
goes down. That's exactly, you're right.
I feel like we've provided more value in the past 30 minutes than probably all the podcasts put together, thanks to you. I mean,
oh, thank you.
We could probably do another hour on this, but my brain would hurt. That is very interesting. Now, how did you figure that out? Is that just because it's common knowledge in your field, or you looked at the blockchain?
That was me playing with the bonding curve, literally, and that calculator still sits on ProsperClout, right? What started this entire thing? That calculator is on the ProsperClout website, so you can simulate a trade. You can come in and
I was looking at that. That was pretty awesome, and I think I was having problem. Maybe it's because of my browser I'm using, but I was trying to simulate a trade, and I don't know that I did that right. Is that on the coin calculator portion?
Yeah, you can do coin calculator, or you can go to individual profile and simulate. So yeah, pick. It won't drop down. You'll have to put the thing full name here and hit enter.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm using the wrong.
Or that's okay. Actually, you don't need to worry about that. Just scroll down. Put any number, right? Like we can see what's your BitClout podcast, right? BitClout podcast. So BitClout podcast, I'll tell you, just put in the number of your coin price is 258. So if you just want to put 258 in there, and that is basic.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it changes, right? The circulation, which is 21.6. Yeah. And your founder reward is at 9. So just change the founder reward on the right side to be 9.
Oh, I see.
And there you go. Now you're good to go. You can simulate a buy and sell trade, and it'll tell you what is potentially the blended price, right? At what price are you buying? You're not buying at 258. If you buy lots of coins, you will buy at a higher price. You buy fewer coins, you buy it at a lower price. It's the price that you buy at is the price that you see now. And it's in the middle of the price that will be by the end of the purchase, right? It will be somewhere in the middle.
I don't think I see this I would love to see this information as I'm buying a coin.
Yeah, so just put it. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, this is the math that's happening, and this should be there. So if you put in $100 before you confirm a trade, you want to know, in fact, how many coins will I own? And there are two factors going in here, right? When you put $100, or let's say you say I'm going to put $125, right?
I would put that here. I'd put 125.
you'll expect to get half a coin, right? Because you see $258.
Yeah, right.
And just skip this, just say simulate on the right side.
So do I need to put the target ROI in?
It doesn't matter. It's like if you just hit simulate and let's go down. You are thinking that, let's see, I'm actually going to go there. It's a little, I can't see it clearly. What's happening? So your 264, oh, sorry, what was your coin price? BitClout
Roughly
258.
250, is it 258? Okay.
Yeah, so 258. And then you put in 125 for buying. You thought you will get half a coin, but you will pay 292. Oh, no, I didn't do 9% here. So let's do 9%.
I'm paying a higher price per coin now.
Yeah,
I'm adding to it. Okay.
You're paying 289 per coin. You will get about 0.43 coins. Yeah, that's basically happening. And 0.06 of BitClout is going as founder reward. And then after that, what is left is getting applied to the bonding curve. So in fact, you are basically, getting 289. And after your trade, the coin price will go from $258 to $268, actually, after the trade is done.
I feel quite frankly, I'm embarrassed because this is such important information I've wanted, and I failed to dig deep enough to find it. And it was right here on ProsperClout the whole time. This is awesome. There's so much to this that I think I've had people hit me up in DMs, not recently, but back in April and May, asking for some explanation on some of this all along.
Yeah.
So this is cool that you did this. And I always thought there was somebody with your type of mind that was going to do this, kind of like Mechanatron.
Oh yeah, Chris. Yeah,
he's that type, and he admitted it. He's like, that's what interests me. So I count on guys like you that, like you said, you're more interested in doing this than creating. So
that's right. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's a different skill, right? Like I cannot do a podcast, right, to save my life. I love coming on a podcast.
I can't either sometimes.
Talking about, what I've built, but hosting it, being consistent. Oh, that's just not, I cannot do that. But numbers is what I love.
Right. Good. We're, different strokes for different folks.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up unless there's something burning through your mind that you want to share, like what's coming up. What the future is.
So I'll more than trying to push ProsperClout. Yes, there'll be updates. Hopefully, in the next week or so. We're constantly releasing things. The one thing I would want to the one thought that I want everyone to know who's in this ecosystem is people spend a lot of time doing creator research, right? Those who are doing creator research, they spend a bunch of time learning about the creator, finding out about the creator before they buy. Very important, but it's not everything you need to know. Before you buy into a coin, you absolutely have to see the cap table. Who else has bought into the coin? Because that matters sometimes even more than the creator. So let's take a very simple example.
Is it the amount that person's done or the who of it?
Both, really both matter, right? Unfortunately, if you know a volatile coin holder, it's on the cap table, but they hold very few coins, it's okay. A volatile coin holder who's holding 20% of the supply, that is somewhat concerning. 100% matters. So when you are looking to buy into a coin, please look at the creator. Make sure, right, the person will deliver value, create value over time. But even if the person has kept up every part of their promise, created amazing content, if you have few coin holders sitting there with large portions of that coin, once they leave, they can impact your holding, right? So it's the whole coin table or the cap table you want to look at and not just the creator before investing.
Okay. I'm going to coin a term called the Sethi index.
Oh, thank you.
And I think you need to create that so that looking at a coin, there's an index that says that you use these scoring mechanisms that you just described.
In fact, there is an index. It's called HHI. I didn't come up with this.
So it's the same as that?
It's similar. It doesn't look into the volatility of a coin holder. It doesn't go into that kind of detail. And my goal at ProsperClout is to get to that second or third level of insight over time. But yes, there would be some kind of an index which will start, giving a little bit of a volatility score or a, risk score on every cap table. And that's where, we want to go
Okay.
with ProsperClout.
All right, get to work, buddy. I'm expecting the Sethi index by the end of the week.
Oh, wow. Which week? This year, this week, next year?
Yeah, well, in BitClout weeks, that'll be later this afternoon.
Oh my God, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So, all right, Sethi, I can't thank you enough. This has been actually a lot more fun than I thought, quite honestly. Because I look at, I don't follow numbers like you do, but this really was interesting.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with people, talking about this. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I can tell you really enjoy it. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, Sethi.
Yeah, thank you for having me.